thank you for joining us. We have an amazing guest with us today on Together with Rabbi Yonah. We're going to be speaking with Eli Beer. Eli is the president of United Hatzalah in Israel. If you have ever heard of him or his organization, you will know that they have pioneered life-saving paramedic technology where they're able to get their volunteers to people to save lives in faster time than ever was thought before. He is a world traveler who goes around the world not only raising money for the organization, but also helping paramedic and other organizations to improve their life-saving techniques. We're very honored to have Eli on the show. We'd be honored to have him anytime. Wait till you hear his story of his surviving 33 days in a coma in Florida. It's an incredible story. We're going to be joining Eli now live. We're going to pull up the Zoom conversation. Eli, are you there? Can you hear us?
Not yet. I'm still holding and breathing in the breathing therapy, and I didn't get to the Zoom therapy yet. So really, I have to apologize in front of all your viewers and from all around the world. And I know you're so popular and loved by so many people, and I delayed so many people trying to figure it out. Thank God I have younger kids here who know all these technologies, and my daughter gave me a phone, and she was able to start it for me.
Oh, thank God. Well, we're so happy to see you. I want to say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kimanu v'gyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen, amen. I have to say that really, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You know, we are, we're here. It's Erev Shabbat in your time zone. Here, we're just waking up in Los Angeles. We've got people, in New York and other places. So we're not going to have a lengthy conversation, but and maybe sometime in the future we can. I really want to get to a couple of the big questions. Eli, how do you feel?
I feel amazing. First of all, seeing Eretz Israel again is unbelievable. Going down off the plane on the ground of Israel and celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut together with my family. I miss my kids so much. I never, in some point, I lost, before they put me to sleep the second time, which I'll tell you, the
Wow.
doctors, the doctors, and I heard them talking between themselves. I realized my medical situation was so bad. I thought I'll never see my kids again, never see my wife, never see the land of Israel anymore, and never see Hatzalah anymore, which I love so much. And then when I woke up again and I got to Israel a few days later, I felt like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I mean, there is no words that I could say how I feel because you get your life again. You know, Hashem gives me another opportunity.
Tell me, I didn't realize that you had been intubated, brought out, and then intubated again.
Yeah, I was 18 days in a coma, fighting for my life. And they woke me up after 18 days and they extubated me. They gave me incredible, crazy medicines, anything you could imagine that's on the shelf, trying to save me. Finally, something worked. But a day later, when I thought everything is over, my situation got worse than the first time. And they had to put me, they had to put me in a coma again and intubate me. And it was terrible. The doctors were really worried. I was really worried. My family was really worried. And we thought it's over. And, I was almost 12 days in a coma again and fighting for my life. And I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people praying and doing good deeds and chesed and tzedakah and you name it. A 13-year-old boy in Jerusalem with cancer for 6 years fighting for his life. When I woke up, my daughter, who volunteers with him, calls me up and he says, he wants to talk to you. I was very weak. And he said to me, his name is Yosef Mordechai Kadosh. He said to me, Eli, in Hebrew, I prayed for you every day that you should recover. Every day I prayed for you to recover. I said to Tehillim a few times, the whole Tehillim, I wanted you to recover. And you know why I did it? I said, why? He said, because when I grow up, I want to volunteer for United Hatzalah. I started crying. I said, a little kid who just became 13, he had a bar mitzvah. And I said, this is amazing that this kid, I never met him before, but my daughter knows him. And I walk in the street in Tel Aviv now. I'm walking slowly, getting back to myself. And people are telling me, people who are, I don't know them, I never met them. A taxi driver saw me walking, he stopped. He says, are you the guy that was in the Corona, you had Corona in New York, in Miami? I said, yes. He says, I daven for you. And he palalti l'shulchan, not a religious Jew, but a Jew. And he prayed for me. And then I met non-Jews who told me they were praying for me. So I think praying to Hashem, no matter what language, is an amazing opportunity to cure people, amazing way to cure people. And I think that's how I was cured.
You have given a face to the whole struggle and the whole epidemic. When you became infected and you were hospitalized and the word went out around the world, I believe that it helped people to understand just how serious this is. And I agree with you also. And I'd like to ask you a little bit more about that. You say you feel that prayer is what brought you back. Did you have any other thoughts when you were in that kind of semi-conscious state? What were you thinking? What were you asking God for?
Hello? I lost you for a minute. I'm so sorry.
No problem. I was
lost the
asking,
last sentence.
what were you asking God for in that moment when you were coming and going from consciousness? What were the thoughts in your mind?
Look, my whole life, 32 years of my life, I'm involved with saving other people's lives. And Hatzalah in Israel, the volunteers, we treated over 5 million people. So when I heard the doctors talking in between themselves about maybe tracheing me, which is me opening here a little, point to put in a tube in here instead of through the mouth, I knew my situation is very, very bad. And I couldn't breathe. I had a terrible attack on my lungs. I had the worst pneumonia you could imagine that happened to me the second time, actually. And I heard the doctors. I called my family, of course, to say goodbye. I didn't tell my kids anything, but I wanted to talk to every kid of mine. I spoke to my wife. I told her how much I love her. I told all my family how much I love them. And I support, I have so many friends. I couldn't talk to all my friends. I love so many people. And I didn't know how to say goodbye to everyone, but I knew my chances are very low. I read about 80% of the people survive what I did, what I had. Now, 80% of the people don't survive. Sorry, only 20%. The amount of work they put into me was enormous. So I was really worried, and I prayed to Hashem. I said, look, I'm a simple guy. I'm just a medic. My whole life I saved other people. Maybe I could use part of my zchuyot to be cured. And that's what I said, very simply. I didn't go into more sophisticated davening because my situation was so bad. I just said, look, maybe I could use some of my zchuyot. I helped save so many people. And then they put me to sleep. I don't remember anything. In that moment, you just lose the contact with this world. You're in another way, another place. And they intubated me and they tried everything. And I had a few angels that were really, really helpful, like a doctor in Miami, him and his wife, Joel and Adele Sandberg. They actually, every single day, they actually took responsibility over my life in terms of making sure the doctors give a report and they know what they're doing. And he's a doctor, so he knows everything. And then I had an incredible person, which I'm sure everyone knows, Miriam Adelson, who called the hospital every day to make sure I'm treated really well. And it's always good to get a few phone calls when you're in a hospital and you have so many COVID-19 patients. You need some motivation because these doctors are incredible in Miami Hospital and the university. They're incredible staff, but they worked so hard. They were working 12 hours under, they're all covered. And I felt so bad for them. They were sweating underneath. It's so hard what they're doing. They just need a little push from outside, and it came. And then a miracle happened the last day before I woke up. They gave me an experimental medicine, a stem cell type of medicine that no one actually used before in Miami. This was the university started doing research on it, and they got an approval to give it to me. I don't know if that's helped. That's the thing that helped me, but that was the last treatment I got. And then they started after me. They actually started doing, different tests on people. But by me, it was like a pity medicine they gave me because they felt they didn't have anything else. And then the next day, a miracle happened. I woke up and the doctors came over to me and they said, Ellie, you know where you are? And I said, yes, in Switzerland. And they thought I thought I was in Switzerland somehow because I was dreaming something about Switzerland. And they asked me if I know my family name and if I know Gitti and about this and that. They were asking me questions. I knew more or less everything. I was very confused. It was actually the worst moment of my life because I had terrible dreams that I actually thought that happened. Very hard not to believe all these things happened because they were more than a dream. And it took me time to get back to myself. So they said, do you want to speak to your family? I said, yes. We tried calling Gitti and they couldn't get through to her. And my daughter, they couldn't get through to her. So finally they got through to Eli Pollack, who runs Hatzalah in Israel. And he answers the phone and he says, he was shocked to see him alive. And I couldn't talk straight. I was a little confused. I said to him, where's Gitti? He says to me, let me check. And this was the middle of the night. And he gets back to me and he says, he checked in the computer to see, because we have every Hatzalah volunteers has an app that you can see everyone where they are. It's like a type of an Uber technology. And he says right now, Gitti and your daughter are responding to a lady giving birth in Ramot in Jerusalem, and they're helping deliver a baby. So I'm going to let them know to call you back. And it was an incredible feeling, like everything is continuing and they're doing good deeds, and they were busy literally every day helping people. So I realized all these great deeds that everyone was doing, my family was doing, and other people were doing, gave the push. It wasn't only the medicine, it wasn't only the doctors, it wasn't only the hospital, it was really the great energy. Some people call it karma, the mitzvahs, and other things that people were pushing towards me. That gave me the ability to fight this and win this.
That's incredible. Incredible story. You are heroic, and your doctors are heroic, and we thank God that you are with us to help save lives again. I understand that the organization United Hatzalah is organizing a program on Sunday Saving Lives. I like how you did that alliteration. Everyone's got,
I think it's called SavingLivesSunday.com.
Saving Lives. Okay, so say it again for everybody.
SavingLivesSunday.com. It's a worldwide program we're doing for Hatzalah. 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is, 4 o'clock LA time?
It'll be 10 a.m. for us. That's great.
It's 1 o'clock. Yeah. Sorry, I confused. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. It's exactly on time, right after you go to shul. You don't go to shul anymore. I'm sorry. You have time to be with your family and watch this program. Jay Leno will be there. We'll have Elon, what's his name? Shushart, sorry. My head is confused a little.
That's okay.
Shushart,
it's going to be
the mentalist, who's probably the best mentalist in the world, and many other people who are going to be part of this program. And we're trying to get Hatzalah back on its feet after this terrible corona attack on Israel. We had to buy millions of shekels equipment that we needed for the volunteers to protect them. They go out to 2,000 emergencies every day. So in order to protect the volunteers, and also all the chesed they do in terms of humanitarian work, I asked Eli Pollack when he spoke to him the first time. I was very depressed because I told him I want my family to come to Miami to celebrate Pesach with me. And I was so anxious to do Pesach with them. And I told him, Ellie, could you make sure they come to America because I want to be them with the Seder. And he said to me, Ellie, I don't know if you know, but Pesach was over yesterday. And when I heard that, I was so depressed. So I was crying. I was so down and everything. Like I went into the hospital right after Purim, and here I'm in Pesach after Pesach. So I asked Ellie, what's going on with Hatzalah? Tell me what's going on. Give me a story that could give me the strength to wake up, to get back to myself. So he said, listen, while you were in a coma, we actually started a new program that was sponsored by a family in Ra'anana. And we got all the volunteers to agree, besides emergency calls, medical emergency calls they go out to every day, to help people, humanitarian help, like older people who are stuck in their home, they can't leave. They need medicine. They're out of their medicines. In Israel, they don't deliver medicines to people's homes. They need food. Some of them don't have food, and they never got food from anyone. They're not people who are used to getting food from organizations. They're people who are normal people. They just can't help. My mother's 92 years old. She can't leave her house.
She can't leave her house. She can't go shopping.
Thank God she has 125 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren who take care of them. Many people don't have that privilege of having children or grandchildren taking care of them. They live alone or they don't have family in Israel. So we started this program, he said, and we treated already over 8,000 people. This is right after Pesach. And already since then, many others. We helped many thousands and thousands of people. He said, one story that you'll love. I said, tell me the story. He said, a lady called right before the holiday of Pesach. And she was crying on the phone. She's a Holocaust survivor. She lives in Bat Yam, which is right after Tel Aviv and Jaffa. And she said that I light candles every holiday. Every holiday I light candles, and I light for memory of my parents, my whole family. And I don't have candles at home, and I don't know where to get candles. Do you have anyone who could give me candles? Now, this was like 5 minutes before Passover. You know, who's going to go buy candles now? So we sent the dispatch, send out the call to the volunteers in Tel Aviv or Bat Yam area who could go out. An Arab volunteer of Hatzalah, Khalid, who volunteers for Hatzalah in Jaffa. Incredible guy. I actually know him really well. He's an amazing person. He's a paramedic. He drives one of the ambucycles in Jaffa, right next door. I'm in Tel Aviv. And he right away responded, I'll do the mitzvah. And he jumped on the ambucycle. He found the supermarket open in Jaffa. You know, it's an Arab area.
Right.
A lot of Christians and Muslims live there. And he went into a supermarket and he bought candles. And he bought a bouquet of flowers on his own. And he drove to this woman in Bat Yam, knocked on her door. She's almost 90 years old. And she opens the door and he's wearing a Hatzalah vest, an orange vest we always wear. And she sees him, like this is like a half hour after she called. And he gives her the flowers and he gives her the candles and he says, Chag Sameach Michud Hatzalah. Have a happy holiday from United Hatzalah. When Eli Polak told me this story, I said, Mi K'Amcha Yisrael.
Mi K'Amcha Yisrael.
Such an amazing organization and country. The people, even Arabs, are part of this. Because you know what? In the end of the day, we're living here in Israel. We have 8 million people. Many of the Arab citizens here are incredible people, just want to live quietly and want to be part of society here. And
it's such an inspiring story.
And the relationship built in United Hatzalah between all the sectors, between firm religious Haredi people, between more modern Orthodox, between secular Jews, Muslims, Christians, and Druze, men and women, all together in this organization. And that brings a meaning to the word united. And United Help, United Hatzalah, United Rescue. So when I heard this story, I said, I'm not giving up. I'm going to fight. I'm going to walk on my feet. I couldn't even pick up my hands. I was so tired. And I was so weak. My whole body was weak. I was laying for 33 days on a bed, not moving one limb of my body. And I couldn't breathe on my own for 30 days. So actually, after that story, I said, I want to start physiotherapy. And I started physiotherapy. And it was incredible. And then I got another miracle a few days later. I got another miracle that my wife gets a phone call from Miriam Adelson. And she says to my wife, I want to send a plane to pick up your husband. and she felt very uncomfortable because I never go on private jets, and I'm very comfortable flying El Al in a regular section or even in, it
But
doesn't
it's
matter.
not a regular time now.
And the doctor says the only way you can get out of here is if you fly directly from Miami with a doctor and a paramedic. They had conditions because they fought for me. They spend, this bill of the insurance cost a lot of money. They spend a lot of money in medications and care and everything. They're not going to let me go through New York, wait 8 hours in the airport, and then take a flight United to Israel. They didn't allow it.
Right.
So it was a miracle that happened. And then I have to share another miracle. I have incredible friends in many places. I have incredible friends around the world, and people were just calling me and saying, we prayed for you, or they sent me messages. And I read like incredible things what people were doing, chesed, and helping people, and tzedakah, and people supporting Hatzalah and other causes. I have a friend in Tel Aviv, it's a couple in Tel Aviv, who I love very much, Menachem and Ruti Oren, who are incredible entrepreneurs. They build buildings all over Tel Aviv and everywhere. They're building incredible, they build a Royal Beach in Tel Aviv. And Menachem says, you're staying in my apartment. Menachem and Ruti spoke to me. They said, you're coming to Israel. You can't stay in your apartment, top floor of a building. I have no elevator. Come stay in Tel Aviv. I'll give you one of my nice apartments to stay in. So actually, as we're talking, I need to introduce you, if you don't mind, to Ruti and Menachem. They just came to visit me. It's their apartment, but they're visiting me in their apartment. And they're wearing the thing. So this is Menachem and Ruti. And Shabbat Shalom. They are incredible people.
Hello, you wonderful people. Thank you so much for what you're doing for our dear friend Ellie.
And we just brought you cheesecake.
And they brought me cheesecake. And this is my family. You can say hello to everyone. You can all see they all came here for Shabbat. And I just want to show you our dog. The view I have here, which is a view you don't have in LA, I promise you. This is Tel Aviv.
Beautiful.
I don't know if you could see.
Yes, it's beautiful. Look
So
at
this
that.
this is how I am recovering. This is how I'm recovering, with great friends who are helping me or praying for me or doing chesed. And this is a great chesed the Oren family in Tel Aviv did for me. And I'm relaxing here and I'm doing physiotherapy. And meanwhile, my kids who are here, they're all in Hatzalah. All my kids. So my daughter now is responding to an emergency call nearby. And they're running out the calls in Tel Aviv and enjoying themselves.
Beautiful.
They love it.
We really are so grateful for this time with you. And I want you, if you could tell us again, on Sunday, what are we raising money for?
So on Sunday, we're raising money for United Hatzalah for their activity, for the medical supplies, for oxygen, for kits that we need for volunteers. We have a shortage of oxygen. We have 2,000 bottles that we're missing of big oxygen tanks that volunteers need. We need to protect our volunteers. They constantly, every emergency they go to, they have to use it. It's a one-time use for the whole uniform.
Right.
Unfortunately, you don't know who you could treat. Someone's having a heart attack. You're treating him for a heart attack, but you don't know if he has COVID-19.
That's right.
So
you have to take precautions.
We are precautions. So every volunteer of ours goes out to a call. Every day we have over almost 2,000 emergencies. Think about it. Every emergency we have 2 or 3 volunteers going to. They wear the protection gear. We have containers that we needed to buy of protection gear for volunteers and masks and everything else. So all this medical supplies and activity of Hatzalah, we're trying to raise $5 million to stabilize the organization for the next few months and make sure we have all the supplies that we need. So this SavingLivesSunday.com was an idea that came from one of our board members, Amy Kornbase, and Mark Gerson, our chairman from New York. I'm sure you know about him. Mark Gerson, his wife's a Reformed Jew. She's a rabbi, actually, and Mark's a Rebbe. And they love every Jew in the world, every man, every person, no matter who they are, even non-Jews. They love everyone and they want to help. And United Hatzalah is a great example of Kiddush Hashem that does so many things, very much like Chabad, very much like spreading. We spread the light and
spread the light.
The work that the tremendous Kiddush Hashem.
That is a beautiful place. You are spreading the light. You are saving lives. and you're inspiring all of us to what we can do to help others when we see your example, your tireless work on behalf of saving lives, of sharing life-saving technology with people all over the world. We really, we hope and we pray that we'll be able to be with you again. Maybe we'll check in like a few weeks or so, get an update. Okay.
Next time I hope I talk to you, I'll be fully recovered. I walked today over 1 kilometer. I felt great. It was tiring for me. It's not easy, but I really hope to get better faster and faster. I want to go into full mode. I promised, when I woke up, I promised myself, and I gave a promise to Hashem that whatever I did till now is going to be a lot more, is going to be only the beginning of a lot more. I'm going to make sure, God willing, that every street in Israel is protected with volunteers of United Hatzalah. We'll have
Beautiful.
a 90-second response from the Golan Heights down to Eilat. Right now, we are really fast because 1 to 3 minutes in Israel, and some cities were under 90 seconds. But I want to get there and make sure that God, Chas v'shalom, if someone needs help, you should not wait more than 2 minutes for help. I want to get there in a minute and a half. That's my goal in life. I want to make sure, look at this. In corona disease, so many people died. In Israel, 220 people died. And look how much war, everyone's cured. But every day, people are still dying, waiting for emergency help to come to them on time. Someone choking, you can't wait for 10 minutes for help. I want to make sure that we'll never have a situation that someone has to wait more than a minute and a half.
Beautiful. With God's help, we're going to get there. Thank you, brother. It's this is such a lovely opportunity for all of us. And refuah shlema, we're still davening. You should have a complete recovery. And may we hear good news and share good stories again very soon. Shabbat
Thank you
shalom.
so much, and good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. All the best.
Thank you. Regards from Israel. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thank you all very much for joining us on this program, this special program with Eli Beer. And we're going to be posting this all over. Thank you, and have a wonderful week. Shabbat shalom. Weekend. Shabbat shalom.